Hey, what's going on? In this video, I'm breaking down exactly why you're not in the shape that you want. Maybe you've gone on streaks of being healthy and then you always revert back to your old self, or maybe you're just struggling to get consistent with even going to the gym. And I've been in all of those situations. And so I'm gonna break down exactly why that is and how you can fix some of these things to develop the foundations to get you going in the right place. And we're gonna get you the body that you want. So to start off, a bit about who I am and my fitness journey. So I started off as a super skinny kid in high school, right? This was me, and I was like this, and then I had a turn back moment where I was like, I'm not gonna be skinny, I'm not gonna let myself embarrass, and then I got to here. But then once things got a little bit hard, I turned to food, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And because of that, I kept rebounding from going like this to then looking like this to then going back and looking like this. And I'm gonna share with you this cycle that I went through and the reasons behind it, and it's going to explain why you might be going through a similar thing where maybe you go on a good diet, get in a really good shape, but then you always come back, or maybe you go 2-3 weeks going into the gym, you're looking strong, you're feeling healthy, and then you always revert back to what you were doing before. And so we're gonna cover all of that in this video. First thing is, and the biggest thing is, it was my identity. So every time that I tried to change my body, I was fighting against who I believed that I was. So your identity will always win over your goals. So if you want to achieve the body that you actually want, we are going to talk about the beliefs and what you have going on in here, because that is what's keeping you stuck. And so once you understand that piece and change what's going on internally, then the actions will become automatic, which we're going to talk about. Okay, so your identity, if we looked at it in your identity creates behaviors, which then creates results. And these results will reinforce your identity. So this is a loop. So when I was skinny, I had certain beliefs about myself, right? Bad genetics. It's too late for me. I'll never be strong. And I had all of these destructive thoughts and patterns. And so what this resulted, resulted in certain behaviors of me not going to the gym, me not taking health seriously. Gosh, my pen is horrible. I can't even read. Okay. Or even like me flat out just not trying, right? And what did this result in? This resulted in me still being skinny, and that reinforced my identity. Right, so then one day I had an emotional turn back moment where one day I decided, you know what? I'm not gonna let that, that's bullshit. One day, you know what? I decided I am an athlete. I go to the gym. I'm strong. One day I decided to have a new identity. And because of this new identity, guess what we started doing? Gym. I started to eat a ton of steak, exercise. We do those things, we get results, reinforce the identity. All right, but then as you can see here, we got in great shape. But then things started to get a little hard. And so I turned to food to make myself feel better. So we got to think, what was my identity then? If you really think about it, it was when things get hard, I turn to food. Food makes me feel better. I can eat bad foods and still be in shape. This was my identity because that is what I believed in my brain about myself, that I could do this. And what did this result? Behaviors, pizzas, cookies, cake. And so this resulted in me feeling guilty, shame, all of these negative emotions, which then guess what? Food makes me feel better. I can still eat these foods and be in shape. So guess what? I just kept going in this loop. And so that's what kept happening was I would get in really good shape and then something bad would happen. And then I would start looking like this again. I'd turn to food and I'd get fat. And then I'd go get in shape and then I'd ping pong back. And so I kept going through this back and forth. And it was because I never truly changed my identity. I never truly changed this part. I never truly changed this because I always had that belief, and that was deep down who I was. So whenever things got a little bit difficult, I would always turn to food. And that's why I would never keep a sustainable body, lifestyle, habits. So I want you to think about person A and person B. Yeah, he's ripped. This is you right now. You are person A, and you have a particular identity, whatever that might be. You might think maybe you're overweight, maybe you're skinny, you're out of shape, you want to gain muscle. And so the thing is that you have a collection of thoughts and beliefs about yourself, about the world, many of which I probably described. Maybe you think the gym isn't for me, I'm not someone who can be in shape, I'll never be healthy. You have all of these thoughts and beliefs which then cause you to become person A. And if you really think about it, person B, let's say this is the person that you want to become, future you, the one that's in shape, the one that has a healthy lifestyle, they have different thoughts and beliefs. They have different thoughts and beliefs about, let's say in a hypothetical scenario, you go to a bakery and you're here and person A, you think, oh my God, I love donuts. I love all this. I'm going to buy and eat all these sugary foods. And person B might walk into that bakery and say, you know what? I don't really need all these. I'm good. And I'm going to just pass and get something else. So because of these thoughts and beliefs, we have different actions. On a daily basis, there's different actions that both of these people have, which result in the bodies and the lifestyles that they have. So when you are person A and this is why when you see people go on these crazy diets, or you see them go on these crazy workout plans, these crazy where people will just lose 30 pounds in 2 weeks, but then suddenly like they get an amazing body or they lose a ton of weight, so they temporarily become person B. Yay. But they become person B on the outside, not on the inside, which again, on the inside is your thoughts and beliefs. Right? And that is why you see so many people when they do these crazy diets or these crazy workout plans, they revert back from person B to being person A again because they didn't change what they thought about the world and health and themselves, right? They always thought I'm still someone who's fat or out of shape, or I'm someone who loves to eat donuts to make myself feel better. They never changed the inner work, and that is why you need to fix the internal in order to have sustainable external change. So before you go on any crazy or commit to any diet or workout plan, you really got to dig deep and figure out who you are. That is the first step. So a few questions that I like to ask myself, or what I would ask yourself, is why am I out of shape or overweight, skinny, unhealthy? And I really want you to sit with this question for a moment. And what you're going to notice is you're going to come up with some type of answer. It might be, I don't go to the gym. And you ask why? And you think, I don't like it. Why? And you think, because I feel like a loser and it's embarrassing. And then you ask why? Why do you feel like a loser? And it might be because I'm ashamed of my body. And then you ask why? And it might be because I'm not good enough. What you'll realize is that if you ask why a bunch of times, it normally comes down to two things. And one of them is that you don't feel like you're good enough, or B, you are trying to people please and you care a lot about external validation and you care a lot about what other people think of. So it's not like this and then suddenly you're enlightened and kumbaya moment of like, oh my God. But this is the work that you need to do internally, because once you can solve all of this, once you can dig deep and solve all of this, then we can start solving these layers one by one and solve this issue of you not going to the gym. And then you solving this issue of why am I out of shape? And there's many more questions that you could be asking yourself. Like, if you eat a lot of fast food, just ask yourself, why do I eat so much fast food? And you can keep going down this ladder of why. What do I believe about people who are healthy? What's crazy is that you might think, what do I believe about people who are healthy? You might think they're annoying, they're narcissistic. You might have all of these negative emotions towards healthy people, right? So if you despise healthy people, then you are secretly going to self-sabotage yourself. Because if this is you, if you despise healthy people, the moment that you start trying to become a healthy person, person A is going to be like, no, we despise them. We do not want to become healthy. They're narcissistic, they're annoying, they're whatever. So guess what? Person A, which is you right now, you're trying to become person B, you are going to self-sabotage yourself. Life is going to throw all these things at your way so that you become person A again. And that is why we need to uncover all of these limiting beliefs, these negative emotions, what you believe about yourself, what you believe about the world. And so if you want more questions like this to reflect on, please comment in the video. These are two good ones that you can start out with. A good starting point is just, what do I believe about health? Why am I not as healthy as I should be? What do I believe about healthy people? What decisions am I making that are causing me not to be healthy? And so if we really think about identity, behaviors, results. So you are here, you have a certain identity, figure that out. Figure this part out, because this is causing you to watch TV after work for an hour instead of going for a walk or a run or to the gym. Or this is resulting in you choosing to eat donuts for dinner when you know you should be eating some type of chicken or beef. Or this is you deciding to eat a bunch of McDonald's when you're traveling instead of eating a protein bar. And then you get this, which reinforces this. So please, we are going to, you know what? We're going to come up with some more questions to really uncover your identity. And it really comes down to, what story am I telling myself? What story am I telling myself? Is it, I'm fat? Is it, I'm a loser? Is it, I can't be healthy? Is it, I'm not good enough? I'm not disciplined? You got to identify what story you are telling yourself so that we can start to work on this. Because a lot of this stuff, if you just keep asking, is this true? Or is this just something that I made up? A lot of the times when I was doing this, like a lot of the times, not for this particular, I was doing this exercise for some other, and it was like, I was going through this exercise of like, why am I not in the financial level that I want to be at yet? And I kept going, why? And one step of the way, I wrote, because I'm Asian. That was the story I was telling myself. Because I'm Asian. And then I asked, is that true? And if you think about it, how many Asian millionaires, billionaires, very well off Asians are there on this planet? A lot. And yet that was the story. I'm not at the financial level that I want to be at because I'm Asian. It was a story that I was telling myself. And then once I figured that out, I was like, oh my God, that's not true. Like, what am I doing? Like, I was holding myself back because of that. And so I think that's why it's so important here to figure out what story you're telling yourself and start to work on these layers, because once you can fully embody identity, behaviors will naturally come. It won't feel forced, and then you'll get the results, and this will be sustainable. Now, if you're looking for a quick shortcut way, here's what I would say is, if we go back to person A and person B, we know that you right now have different thoughts and beliefs. Person B, the person that you want to become in terms of having a healthy lifestyle, healthy body, they have different thoughts and beliefs. The quickest way to change your identity is just adopt whatever thoughts and beliefs that they have right now. So if you think about it, this guy, person B, he's always saying, I work out every single day in the morning or after work, no matter what. I make sure that I hit my protein goals. I don't eat desserts on a daily basis. I'm very careful about fast food. I'm making sure that I'm staying active and exercising. And so if you can embody that right away and make that your new identity right now, you are going to accelerate and hit the, oh my God. That's the secret in anything, not even just being healthy, in anything. Hope this was helpful, and see you next time.